She laughed. I married you for the green card. You were just a pathetic ticket to America. So I canceled her visa and left silently. Now she's getting deported, begging me to save her. But I'm not listening anymore. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. I met June in the kind of moment you convince yourself was fate, just so the heartbreak later feels cinematic instead of humiliating. I was in Seoul for a short work rotation for months. My Korean was garbage, but I was trying. I met her through a language exchange app. I was looking for someone to practice Korean with. She wanted help with her English pronunciation. Simple stuff, right? She was charming, soft-spoken. She had this laugh that hit somewhere between flirty and shy. She said things like, "Your voice is so calming," and "I feel like I can trust you." I fell for it. I thought she was different. She wasn't flashy like the girls on Instagram, but she had this ambition behind her eyes, like she wanted to make something of herself. We talked about books, travel, even spirituality. On our third meeting, she told me she wanted to live in the US someday. Said it like a dream, not a plan. I should have known. When I came back to the States, we kept in touch. Video calls turned into late-night confessions. 6 months later, she flew out on a student visa. She said she wanted to study marketing, but every night, she curled up next to me and talked about building a life with you. She'd say, tracing little circles on my chest like a scene from a K-drama. My friends asked if it was serious. I told them, she's the most genuine person I've ever met. I believe that. We got married on a rainy Tuesday. Small courthouse ceremony. No big celebration. She said she didn't want attention, that it was about us, not them. At the time, I thought that was romantic. Later, I realized she just didn't want photos with me on her Instagram. The first few months were sweet. She'd cook kimchi stew and tease me for not being able to handle the spice. We watched K-dramas on the couch while she corrected my pronunciation. I loved that routine. It felt real. Stable. She'd press her face into my shoulder and mumble, "You feel like home." God, I held on to that line longer than I should have. But something shifted right after she got her green card. It wasn't immediate. It was death by 1,000 small humiliations. She stopped cooking, stopped saying thank you, started spending more time on her phone, messaging friends back in Seoul, FaceTiming for hours. She wouldn't even introduce me in the background, like I didn't exist. Then came the comments. First it was light teasing. "You dress like an old man." Then a little sharper. "American men are so emotionally weak." And eventually, "Why are you always home? Shouldn't a husband be working harder?" I'd come home from a 10-hour shift, sweaty and drained, and find her sprawled on the couch in leggings, scrolling TikTok, the sink full of dirty dishes from lunch. I'd ask if she could help out a bit more. She'd sigh like I'd asked her to mine coal. "I didn't come to America to be your maid," she snapped once. That one stayed with me. I wasn't asking her to serve me. I just wanted a partner. She started going out more. Korean community meetups, she said. I believed her. Why wouldn't I? She'd come home late smelling like perfume I didn't recognize. Once, I asked if we could have a date night. Just us. She rolled her eyes and said, "Date night? What are we, high schoolers? I need adult conversation." She went to her room and slammed the door. That was the night I started sleeping on the couch. I still remember the exact moment she dropped the mask completely. It was a Tuesday. I had just finished folding our laundry. She walked in, looked at the neatly stacked towels, and laughed. A real, cutting laugh, like she was watching a sitcom. "You really try so hard to be the perfect little husband, huh?" she said, arms crossed. I stared at her, confused. "I'm just trying to keep things together." That's when she tilted her head and gave me a smile I'll never forget. Cold, triumphant, almost proud. "I married you for the green card. You were just a pathetic ticket to America." Just like that. No shame. No hesitation. Like she'd been waiting to say it. I didn't yell. I didn't throw anything. I just looked at her and said, "Okay." She laughed again, this time louder. That's it. No crying. No fight. God, even your reactions are boring. I didn't respond. I walked into our bedroom, packed a bag, and slept in my car that night. I stared at the roof and repeated her words over and over again, like I needed to hear them until they stopped hurting. "You were just a pathetic ticket to America." The next day, I went back while she was out. I took all my things, my documents, laptop, passport, even my spare sneakers. I left the key on the counter. I didn't tell her I was leaving. I didn't leave a note. I just disappeared. And she didn't call. Not at first. I didn't cry after I left. I thought I would. I thought I'd sit in the car and sob like some sad movie character while rain hit the windshield. But there was no rain. No music swelling in the background. Just silence. And a dull, steady beat in my chest that felt a lot like shame. Not because I loved her, but because I let myself be fooled that easily. I stayed at a friend's spare room for a few nights. James, old college buddy. He didn't ask many questions. Just handed me a spare key and said, "Take the bed. I'll sleep on the couch." The first night, I stared at the ceiling and replayed it again. Her voice. That sneer. "I married you for the green card. You were just a pathetic ticket to America." I didn't even need to close my eyes to hear it. What haunted me wasn't just what she said. It was how proud she looked when she said it, like she finally revealed the punchline to some long-running joke. The next morning, I called a lawyer. Not a divorce lawyer. Not yet. An immigration attorney. I explained everything. Our timeline. Her change in behavior. Her confession. The lawyer, older guy, very direct, asked, "Do you have any proof of that statement?" I told him I didn't record it. But he said, "That's okay. If there's a pattern, we can build a case." That's when I started collecting. I logged into our shared photo storage and pulled everything. Screenshots of her texts trashing me to friends, calling me boring, desperate, useful, but not attractive. I downloaded her Instagram posts where she cropped me out or tagged only the location. Not me. Never me. I gathered receipts of everything I paid for. Her classes, her car, her phone bill, her half of rent. Always me. I found the DMs she once bragged about from a K-pop looking guy who was way more my type, but lives in Korea, LOL. I printed it all. And I submitted it to USCIS with a formal withdrawal of support, a copy of the I-864 affidavit of support revocation. That's when it became real. 2 weeks passed. No word from her. Not a text. Not a call. Not a single "where are you?" which told me everything I needed to know. She didn't notice. Or she didn't care. Then came the letters. The first one was from immigration, addressed to me, confirming receipt of my withdrawal. The second went to her. I didn't see it, obviously, but I can imagine her reaction. Because on day 17, after nearly 3 weeks of total silence, I got a message from her. No apology. No concern. Just, "Jiun, hey. Weird question. Did you cancel something with immigration?" No hi. No hope you're okay. Just straight to the point. Panicked, transactional. I stared at the message for a long time, then turned off my phone. Later that week, she called. I didn't answer. Then came the voicemails. "Adam, I need to talk to you. This isn't funny. I got a letter today, and I'm really confused." Followed by, "Did you tell them something? I thought we were good. Can you please call me back?" The tone shift was amazing. From smug and superior to nervous and needy. But I wasn't playing this game anymore. I blocked her number. A few days later, she showed up at James's apartment. I don't know how she found the address. Maybe a mutual friend slipped. Maybe she tracked my credit card. Wouldn't put it past her. James called me from work. She's outside. She's been knocking for 10 minutes. I'm not letting her in. I told him good. Don't. That night, she sent an email. Subject line, "Please just talk to me." The message read, I know I said messed up things. But I was stressed. I didn't mean all of it. I panicked. We were a real couple. You can't just erase that. Can we meet? Please. I didn't reply. She tried again. Immigration is asking for more evidence. They said my permanent status is on hold. I need you to confirm we were real. Still, I said nothing. Because if she thought I was the key to saving her now, then she was finally seeing me as something valuable. Too bad it was too late. Another 2 weeks passed. James said she stopped coming by. But she started posting more cryptic stuff online. Black and white selfies. K-pop ballads. Captions like, "People will destroy what they don't understand. Love isn't real. Survival is. I wish I never met certain people." The comments were filled with friends from Korea hyping her up, but the mask was slipping. I knew her too well. That wasn't confidence. That was panic dressed up in filters. A mutual friend, Jenny, Korean-American, pretty level-headed, texted me out of nowhere. "Jenny, hey. Jiyoon's telling people you're trying to ruin her life. Is that true?" I sent back one message. Me? Did she tell you why we got married? She didn't reply. Not that it mattered. The final straw came when she called my office line. A desperate voicemail. Please. I need you. You don't understand what they're threatening me with. They might send me back. I'll lose everything. Just tell them we were real. Please, Adam. Please. I saved the voicemail. Didn't return the call. Didn't even flinch. I was finally at peace with one thing. She used me to get here. But I'd used the truth to send her back. I didn't hear from Jiyoon for a couple weeks after that last voicemail. No texts. No calls. No email. Just silence. And it was peaceful. It's amazing how loud someone's absence can feel when they've been sucking all the oxygen out of your life for months. I started breathing again, like really breathing. Food tasted better. Music sounded clearer. I could sleep through the night without that knot in my stomach. I knew it wouldn't last, but I took the silence as a gift. James and I had a running joke by that point. Every time my phone buzzed, he'd go, Deportation Chronicles, Episode 7? I'd just smirk and swipe it away. Sometimes it was spam. Sometimes it was her, calling from new numbers I hadn't blocked yet. I never picked up. Then came the real shift. A mutual friend, Nikki, invited me to a Korean barbecue night in Flushing. Jiyoon used to go to these all the time. Their little expat crew. I hesitated, but I went. Why not? I showed up, grabbed a spot, started talking to people I hadn't seen in a while. And then, the whispers started. Hey man, I heard Jiyoon's going through something. Is it true she might get sent back? Damn, didn't you two just get married? I kept it cool. Polite smile. No gossip. We're not together anymore, I said simply. She made her choices. I made mine. That was it. No drama. No mudslinging. But I could tell people were shocked that I even showed up. Like they expected me to be in hiding, ashamed, broken, bitter. Instead, I was calm, clean-shaven, eating brisket and laughing with friends. And Jiyoon? She was nowhere in sight. Later that night, Nikki pulled me aside. So, she's been messaging everyone, she said in a low voice. Telling people you turned her in, that you're trying to destroy her. I just nodded. Sounds like projection. She said you faked the marriage to trick her. That one actually made me laugh. I paid her rent for a year and filed her paperwork. If that's a con, I must be the dumbest scammer alive. The next day, I got another email. Subject, please just one more conversation. You don't have to forgive me. Just talk to me. I'm running out of options. I'll do anything, Adam. Just please, say it was real. Say something. I'm scared. I read it 5 times. Paused. Deleted it. That weekend, I heard she got kicked out of the apartment. Her name was never on the lease. Mine was. I'd stopped paying, obviously, once I left. The landlord gave her a grace period, then changed the locks. She ended up sleeping on a friend's couch. Someone named Mira. I'd met her once. Super quiet. Not the kind of person who likes conflict. But 3 days later, she messaged me. Mira, I don't know what happened between you two, but she's not okay. She's crying every night. She's panicking. You should talk to her. I didn't reply, because I had talked to her. I listened to her for months, while she lied to my face, mocked my kindness, and used me like a stepping stone. She wasn't crying back then. She was laughing. The immigration attorney called the next week. He said Jiyoon had filed a counterclaim. Said I was abusive, that I emotionally manipulated her, that I used immigration threats to control her. But the evidence I submitted, the screenshots, the voicemail, the emails, all told a different story. He said calmly, they've opened an investigation. She's not going to get her conditions removed without your support. I asked, what happens if I don't show up for the final interview? He said, then she has to defend the marriage on her own, with her own evidence. I thanked him and said I wouldn't be attending. He didn't ask why. I think he already knew. Another message came in the next night. Jiyoon, I didn't mean it, okay? I was just angry. You don't understand how much pressure I was under. You were always working. I felt alone. There it was. The reframing. The attempt to turn my hard work into her justification. I didn't reply, but I wrote a note to myself that night. Never trust apologies that only show up when consequences do. Things got worse for her after that. Mira stopped hosting her, said she was too erratic and demanding. Apparently Jiyoon started lashing out. She crashed at another friend's place, but that only lasted a weekend. Then she moved to a shared Airbnb room in Elmhurst. Some random Korean girl posted it on a Facebook group. She begged for a place to stay. Her Instagram started changing, too. The bright, airbrushed selfies turned dark. Sad quotes. Pictures of sunsets. Blurry photos of coffee cups with captions like, "I should have been smarter." People only care when it's too late. I miss the way things almost were. Almost. Almost honest. Almost loving. Almost real. I finally blocked her on everything. Not out of spite. Out of mercy. Because I knew what was coming next. She was running out of time. I was at the DMV when I saw her again. I'd gone to renew my license. Nothing dramatic. Just a boring Tuesday in Queens. I was standing in line, checking my phone, and there she was. Across the room. Hair pulled back. Hoodie too big. Makeup smudged like she'd either been crying or just didn't care anymore. She didn't notice me at first. She was arguing with one of the attendants about a name mismatch on a form. Her voice, that sugary lilt she used to put on, was gone. It was flat. Irritated. I should have left. I thought about leaving. But I didn't. I stood in line. Silent. Calm. Eventually, she turned. Saw me. Froze. Her mouth dropped slightly, like she couldn't believe I was real. And then, fast, too fast, she walked up. Adam. Wait. Please. I didn't say a word. Can we talk? She said, like we were bumping into each other at brunch. Not like she'd been trying to weaponize the U.S. immigration system against me 6 weeks ago. I looked her in the eyes. Still calm. No. Just for 5 minutes. Please, I messed up, okay? I know that. I was scared. I said things I didn't mean. You meant every word. I have the voicemail, remember? She went quiet. Her face twitched. A flicker of guilt, or maybe frustration that the guilt didn't work. Then she tried a new angle. They're going to send me back. You know that, right? I'll lose everything. I don't have anyone in Seoul. My parents won't even talk to me. You don't have to love me. Just don't let them do this to me. I didn't do anything to you, June, I said. You did it to yourself. The security guard at the DMV must have noticed something. Maybe her tone, maybe the way she stepped a little too close, because he drifted over and stood nearby. Not saying anything, just watching. She noticed too. Her voice dropped to a hiss. You think this makes you strong? Ignoring me while I'm begging? You think being cold makes you a man? I smiled a little. No, but it makes me free. She stared at me like I'd slapped her. Wow, she whispered. I gave up everything to come here. No, you gave up me to come here. And then you laughed about it. Then I turned and walked away. She didn't follow. That night, I got messages from 2 mutuals. One was Nikki. She showed up at my apartment. Drunk. Screaming about you. I had to threaten to call the cops. She's not okay, Adam. The other was Mira. She told people you hit her. She's trying to claim emotional abuse to stay in the country. I know it's a lie, but just be careful. I already knew she'd try to burn it all down on her way out. People like June don't take accountability. They perform it. They dress it up in sad quotes and dramatic apologies. But it's never about guilt. It's about leverage. When guilt doesn't work, they reach for pity. When pity fails, they reach for fire. I'd already decided I wasn't going to flinch either way. The final interview came and went. She went alone. My absence said everything. A week later, I got a letter from USCIS. Petition withdrawn. Application denied. That was it. Simple. Clean. No drama. No theatrics. Just a quiet end. Except she wasn't done. 3 days later, I got a DM from a random burner Instagram account. How could you do this to her? She loved you. She was just scared. You're a coward. A pathetic man. I knew it was her. She had a pattern. Always tried to twist the story once control slipped through her fingers. I didn't reply. I blocked it. That weekend, she showed up at my gym. I still don't know how she found out where I go. Maybe someone slipped. Maybe she stalked my social media. Doesn't matter. I was coming out of the locker room when she cornered me near the smoothie bar. You're really just going to stand there and pretend none of it mattered? She snapped. You made it not matter, I said calmly. When you used me. When you laughed. When you bragged about it to your friends. I was drunk. I didn't mean it. You said it more than once, Jiun. You wrote it in emails. You weren't drunk every time. Her voice cracked. You think deportation's funny? You think I deserve to lose everything just because I panicked and said dumb things? I leaned in. Quiet, measured. I think you deserve the life you chose. She broke right there. Started crying. Hard. slumped onto the bench like her knees gave out. Other people were staring. Whispers. Phones out. I felt bad. Not for her, but for the shell she'd become. The performance had nothing left. She wasn't trying to manipulate anymore. She was just unraveling. I didn't say anything else. I just walked out. That was the last time I saw her. 2 months passed. No texts. No surprise visits. No burner accounts. Just silence. Then, one morning, I woke up to a single email. No subject line. Just her name. June. I almost didn't open it. But I did. From June. Date? Timestamp. Subject? No subject. Adam, I know I have no right to ask you to read this. But I hope you will. Because it's the only thing I can do now. I'm leaving the country in 6 days. ICE gave me my final notice. They told me if I try to appeal again, I'll just get blacklisted for re-entry permanently. So it's over. I want you to know, I was angry. I was scared. I felt stuck and useless and like nothing was ever going to work out unless I controlled something. And you were there, kind, steady, patient, too patient. So I used that. And I thought if I just told myself it was survival, it would make it okay. It didn't. I don't sleep well. I can't eat without feeling sick. I don't even like who I see in the mirror anymore. That fire I used to have, it's gone. Burned out. I keep replaying the day I said that thing to you. About the green card. About how pathetic you were. It wasn't even a fight. You weren't yelling. You weren't accusing me. You were just tired. And instead of answering like a partner, I turned into something cruel. I don't expect forgiveness. I know I broke something that can't be put back. But please believe me when I say, I did love you. Somewhere in all the mess, I did. I just didn't love myself enough to know how to treat you. You were never pathetic. I was. I'm sorry. June, I read it once. Didn't cry. Didn't get angry. Just sat there, staring at the screen. It felt like reading an obituary. Not of a person, but of a version of her I once believed in. I didn't reply. Not out of malice. Not to punish her. Just because there was nothing left to say. She had her closure. And I'd already found mine. 6 days later, I got a text from Mira. She left this morning. Cried the whole way through customs. She looked empty. I just wrote back. I hope she finds herself again. Somewhere real. And I meant it. Funny how healing happens in silence. Not with dramatic confrontations or grand gestures, but in quiet mornings when you realize you're not waiting anymore. Not waiting for the apology. Not waiting for them to change. Not waiting for the pain to make sense. You just move forward. Last week, I met someone. She's nothing like June. She's emotionally present. Direct. Honest in a way that's disarming. She doesn't perform vulnerability. She lives it. We're taking it slow. No big declarations. No visa paperwork. Just coffee, hikes, late-night talks. It's peaceful and real. I don't hate June. I don't wish her pain. I don't smile at her downfall. I just don't care anymore. And that, I've learned, is what healing actually sounds like. Not revenge. Not fire. Just peace. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.